Everybody, welcome back to Spin Rack. I'm here with my boy Cal. Cal, hey, what's up, brother?
Hey, ready to rock.
Hey, today we're going to be talking about that hot Marvel television trailer, Daredevil Born Again. Let's play it, selector.
Thank you for finding the time.
I will admit, it's not entirely unpleasant seeing you again. A lot of time has passed. By the look of it, you've come up in the world.
I could say the same about you.
The mayor serves his city. I can see you're not entirely convinced.
Can you blame me? I can't shake the feeling that you're gaming the system.
Why did you stop being a vigilante?
The line was crossed.
It's hard to come to terms with a violent nature. Hating the power it has over us.
This city can't go unchecked.
Sometimes peace needs to be broken. And chaos must reign.
Mind putting the hatchet down? I was raised to believe in grace. But I was also raised to believe in retribution.
Well, what can I say? I mean, it is definitely exciting. I have got to say, the trailer is off the chain, but it sets the tone that this is not going to be the regular Marvel TV PG-13 type of show. This is the Netflix Daredevil. What's your take on that, Cal?
Great, because the Netflix Daredevil was never your Marvel PG-13 Daredevil. So they're keeping in line with that, even though it looks like they're upping the violence a bit. Accounted what? At least four instances of bones being broken.
Oh, talk about
and, and those are scenes without the Punisher.
Well, so here's the crazy part. You and I have been going to cons for the last couple of years, and we have been seeing Charlie Cox, who plays the Daredevil, here. So Marvel's had that guy on retainer since the end of the Netflix show, because everybody was like, all right, you can screw many of the other characters, but you got to bring back Charlie Cox. He is the Daredevil. It's like a lot of people in DC are saying, like, Grant Gustin is the Flash. But getting back to Daredevil, he does a fantastic job in this trailer. We've seen him in She-Hulk, right? We've seen him, I think, in Spider-Man, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, we see him coming back. And now this is like, we see the Kingpin in the Echo show, as well as in the
Loved him.
Hawkeye.
Loved him in Spider-Man. She-Hulk made him the She-Hulk's little boy toy. Didn't like it.
But it's like, wow. I mean, this is everything we expected. I think they said that they did a prior pilot, a prior series of Daredevil shows, and they ended up not liking it, and they decided to go back to the Marvel to the Marvel Netflix crew that ran it. I mean, I don't think Jeff Loeb was part of that, but they brought those guys in. So instead of the typical, we're going to make a movie and we're going to do 6 or 7 episodes and we're going to spend the same amount, we're going to do a series. And this one with the that there will be a second season next coming out after this. So, I mean, this is in all essence season 4 of the Netflix. If we continue from the season Netflix season, I mean, it looks fantastic. The Punisher returns. We have Bullseye returning. It looks like Elektra. Is that Elektra? Was that Elektra he was dancing with?
No, That's his new girlfriend, Heather Glenn.
Heather Glenn. Okay, I thought that was Electra. We see the Kingpin, of course, who's central. I mean, now they're doing Dark Reign, where Kingpin becomes the mayor of New York. And by the way, he did a doggone good job as mayor of New York. You know, in essence, it's
Wait,
like,
hold on. You can't say stuff like that, man. Come on.
hey, what do you mean? He did some good stuff. You know, he balanced the budget, right? Made the trains run on time.
He's evil.
He's mayor of New York. You can't be evil. You have just
He's,
a
of
different
course, he
power.
can be evil.
Look, we digress. Let's get back to the Daredevil stuff. All
No,
right,
we do not digress.
we
Okay,
digress.
if you read the storyline, you know what happened, and we understand that the Kingpin, regardless of whether or not he made the subway system run on time, was not a good guy.
Because he was going after the look. We digress. I'm not going to get into this battle with you about good versus evil and who was bad.
Because you know I'm right. What kind of argument can you get into with me on good versus evil? Good is always better than evil, always. End of story.
And yeah, it's always good, but sometimes you need a man to come in there and shake things up. But again, the voters,
What does that? Oh,
the
no, no, no,
voters
no,
of
no,
New
no,
York
no.
voted him in.
What does that mean? When you say that, what does that mean? Sometimes you need a guy to come in and do what? Be evil?
No, sometimes you gotta need a guy who's different from the regular peeps to change things up. So look, we can talk about Dark Reign another day. We're talking about Daredevil. Let's not digress, okay? Yeah, dude, we see the bone crunching in this episode. I mean, that really blew me away. I did not expect so much to be happening, especially like you said, outside of the Punisher, who we know loves doing that, and it was exhibited in his show. But Charlie Cox also did this in you did see him breaking people's bones as Daredevil too.
Not like this.
Not like that, no. I mean, they brought him back in spectacular fashion, and it's action, action, action throughout that whole thing. There's just action, action, action. And I'm like, wow. They brought back Vanessa, Kingpin's wife. I did not expect that at all. You know, I mean,
Well, pretty much everybody's back except Elektra.
yeah, it looks like that everybody's back. They got Foggy looks good. Sharon is back. Yeah.
Who's Sharon?
Sharon, what's her name? His girlfriend, the blonde with Foggy. What's her name again?
Karen Page?
Karen Sharon. My apologies. Didn't want to say Karen, but
never liked Karen Page in the comics. Don't like her on the show, even though I like the actress.
Yeah, it's interesting. But basically, what this basically means is that because from what I'm reading, the whole Marvel Netflix universe is coming back on. They have them all. All of them is now canon. You have you got the guy who played an evil. What's his name again?
Mike Coulter.
Yeah,
that's Luke Cage.
Cage. I guess Jessica Jones is going to come back.
Yeah, they'll probably bring her back. I doubt we'll see Danny Rand as Iron Fist.
I don't know. Danny Rand has been on a rant for years now, saying that he should come back and he thinks he knows what to do. A good story to improve Shang-Chi. Not Shang-Chi. Improve
Iron Fist.
Iron Fist.
He should.
And he's like, give me a chance. He's been working out on the martial arts, so he's like, I'm in.
He was given a raw deal. He was given a raw deal in terms of Iron Fist, and then it was also like the early days of that progressive nonsense. We're like, no, we got to right the ship for past wrongs, and Iron Fist should be an Asian character. And these guys thought that Iron Fist was originally an Asian character, and they gave it to a white guy. And it was like, no, he was always white.
He was always white.
He was always, oh no, we don't need another white guy going to China and coming back and learning martial arts. It's like, he didn't go to China. He went to a different dimension. I said, so there's absolutely nothing wrong with Danny Rand being Iron Fist, but he between the fan sentiment and the budget and the training, hey, he was just given a raw deal. But I figure we'll see everybody except for him. And if we do see Iron Fist, they'll try to make Iron Fist Asian to pander.
Or they'll have the Iron Fist crew with him and not Misty. What's her name?
The Daughters of the Dragon.
Daughters of the Dragon. Have her as the Iron Fist. There's 2 Iron Fists running around. In the comics, they have several Iron Fists running around, like 3 of them.
In the comics, they have too many Iron Fists running around.
So you're like, it's just fan confusion at the top of. It's just not a good way to. As a company, you should be running things with clear IP, meaning clear characters. People know who they are. one person goes on, one person comes off. You could
Well, they
make.
wanted to make they
Sorry.
wanted to make Iron Fist a legacy character in the vein of like Black Panther. But then you go back and they want to say that there's been a Black Panther and Iron Fist since 10,000 BC, that type of stuff. You're like, this is ridiculous. You can't have a character that's been around there that long, and the vibranium mound wasn't even around at that time. These type of things. Yeah, these type of things are just like, hey, this is ridiculous. But then they can, we can look at what they want to do, so they can do these time period things. So we can look at the Victorian age Iron Fist, okay, or the Revolutionary War age Iron Fist. They can do those type of things with the character, and you're just like, no. This after a while you start watering it down, because especially if characters that works in like an anthology series, or maybe for something like the Phantom, who was always that sort of character, where the Phantom is handed down from father to son, and the guy who we meet, Kit Walker, is the 24th generation Phantom, or the 20th generation Phantom, that sort of thing. So you can expect to see stories of the past, and they would do that, where Kit would look up information left by a previous Phantom in order to get him through this particular situation, or to find out what the history was, for whatever the reason may be. But however, the biggest thing that really upset me was that I was so looking forward to Power Man and Iron Fist, to seeing that dynamic played out on screen. And instead, we get Luke Cage over here giving Danny a hard time. It's like, you privileged this, that, and the other, and so on and so forth. And Danny never says, what are you talking about? I was in a plane crash when I was a kid. I was in a plane crash when I was a kid. My folks died, and then I had to be raised as an outsider in like this foreign place. Where's the privilege?
Yeah.
Where's the privilege? Get the chip off your shoulder, dude. You're over here in Harlem, and you took over as top gangster. Who are you to tell me anything?
That is so true. That is so true. But I mean, hopefully now when it comes back, they have better stories. I think, again, we've always said before, they need to go back, and we're digressing from Daredevil, but they have to go back to the source material, and they have to stop thinking like, hey, you know what, we really don't want to utilize it. There's so much material to use, and some that can be mined for stories. Again, the only thing I can think of is that the people who are in the movies, they want to have a little bit of ownership in terms of the story, and so they don't want to go, whole hog or whatever they find. But this Daredevil, it's called Born Again, but wasn't there Born Again before in the didn't they have like season 3? Wasn't that Born Again of Daredevil?
Yeah. Well, that was Born Again, where they dramatized the storyline Born Again. So yes.
And this one, they're calling it Born Again. Why? It's like, you see, the naming conventions just I don't understand them. Why would you call it Born Again? Or Born Again 2? It's just confusing. Hey, let me see Born Again Daredevil. Oh, it has.
Well, they never saw. Because it was just season 3. It wasn't titled Born Again, even though if you read the storyline, you knew this was the Born Again storyline. And I guess they want to keep this. They want to keep this to say that pretty much the character's back, born again, and they're going to just use the name recognition of that storyline, to draw people in. I'm supposing why they would do it, but I don't disagree with what you're saying. Where that can be confusing.
Again, I think of it from a company perspective. If you want to market something, you got to be clear and concise as to what you're doing, and get the story out there. But going back to Daredevil, what do you think of the fact that you have Bullseye returning? I mean, he was one of my favorite characters. I love the fight scenes between them. I like the development and how he changed. His skill, of course, his skill level.
Bullseye, as they presented him in the series, that guy was tough. That guy was tough. I still remember Matt meets him for the first time, and it's like he can't even move, because he makes the slightest movement. Bullseye's taking something and flinging it off the wall, and it's hitting him. He's just getting tagged. He's just like, good grief. And this was not something that Bullseye in the comic necessarily displayed. The big thing with Bullseye in the comic was that anything in his hands, he could throw as a weapon. He was able to take something as small. He could take a paper airplane and, throw it and pierce your eye, because he was able to throw everything with perfect accuracy. And that was the name of the game. This guy was doing some stuff where, like, hey, he was able to micro target you based on where you were. This is like, oh, good grief. Almost like he had a radar sense of his own when it came to that. So that guy who appeared there was like, man, this guy's tough.
Yeah.
But of course, that Murdock Daredevil took him out, no problem. So he's coming back again. I don't have a problem coming back, so Daredevil can smack him around a little bit more. I don't have any issue with that.
What about the White Tiger? I mean, they're bringing him into this. Wasn't he?
What about him?
I mean, White Tiger's going to be in the movie.
Yeah, what about him?
I mean, what do you think about that character coming in? I mean,
a character that has had a lot of potential in the comics and that was never realized. I don't know what they're going to do with him in these stories, but I do have a copy of his first appearance for sale, which can be yours for a nominal fee. Please reach out in the comments if you would like one.
It wasn't Hector Ayala who was the.
Hector Ayala is the first White Tiger, followed up by, I can't remember her first name, Delgado.
And Angela Del Toro.
Del Toro, right? Del Toro.
Wasn't the White Tiger the first Latino character for Marvel?
Yes, first Latino superhero, Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican, that's right. Yeah, that's true.
Boricua.
And he came out in Deadly Hands of Kung Fu number 19.
Yes.
1970.
And that's his first appearance officially. His first appearance in the comics is in Peter Parker's Spectacular Spider-Man. Do you happen to know the issue for that one?
No, I don't. I can take a look. They have him as Deadly Hands of Kung Fu, then Heroes for Hire in 1997, then Black Panther 50, Daredevil 58, Avengers 20. Those are different people. I don't know.
Yeah, his first appearance is in the Deadly Hands of Kung Fu magazine series, but his first appearance in comics is in Peter Parker's Spectacular Spider-Man. I just don't remember the issue number.
Okay, interesting. But it's interesting that they're bringing back a character, but he's had so many different people play him. So you had him, you have the niece, I think you have the daughter. It's like, wow.
Well, they killed him off at one point.
Yeah, didn't he die?
Is he still dead?
No, I think he's gone. I don't think he's around because, like I said, right now I think the last person was his daughter. I think it was.
Yeah, and they killed him off in such a undignified manner. Terrible.
It's kind of crazy, but interesting. The creator was Bill Mantlo and of course George Perez. So it's pretty interesting that he was the one who created it. But I mean, even I'm looking at the Marvel Encyclopedia, the new edition, and they don't even list. They just call him. They say White Tiger after her uncle Hector Ayala. The White Tiger was slain. FBI agent Angela Del Toro inherited the tiger amulet. So they've moved on. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yep.
Then it says Ava becomes the latest White Tiger and joins Sunspot's Avengers team, eventually freeing Angela from the Hand's influence. She's unrelated to the White Tiger created by the High Evolutionary or the NYC, the New York City vigilante associated with Black Panther. So very interesting. Continuing from there. 2 White Tigers, 2 female White Tigers that decided to go with totally different there. But now we also have of course, we're not going to touch the Kingpin because some people are clearly not, I'll just say biased. So, they clearly don't want to put on their hat and say, hey, what's really going on and stuff.
What are you talking about?
I said, I don't want to talk about the Kingpin. But I'm just happy that he's there,
Why don't you want to talk about the Kingpin? What shade are you throwing at me this time?
I'm not throwing any shade, bro. I'm not throwing any shade. All I'm just saying, let's talk about the main villain. Someone I'm not too familiar with because I haven't read him in the comic. It is someone by the name of Muse.
Oh, Muse? Yeah, Muse is new.
It's to the point where Muse, you have both our mayor, sorry, I'm just laughing. Our mayor, the Kingpin, our mayor, because we're here in New York City, our mayor, he has to go and work with Daredevil to try to get rid of Muse. What do you think of Muse? How much of a true danger is he to Daredevil and the city of New York?
Well, have you read anything about him in the comic?
No, I have not read about Muse. Are you familiar?
I don't find it. From what I know of Muse, I don't think he's that big of a deal. He was a new. a lot of the Daredevil villains who really give him a hard time are the ones who have abilities where his radar sense is not something that allows him to have an edge, but it allows him to have like, okay, I can survive this. Those particular villains. That's why Bullseye is a challenge for him, because in spite of the radar sense and everything, Bullseye can just like literally just start throwing whatever. Guy can just like start flicking playing cards, that type of stuff. So that makes him such an adversary. But you had Muse. What's another one? The Acolyte. Yeah, I don't know, because this is supposed to be 18 episodes, and I don't know if Muse is that strong of a villain. Maybe, if he was just taking on Daredevil, okay. But both Daredevil and the Kingpin, I got to see how they're going to execute this.
So here, just looking for a Wikipedia description of his powers. Muse's body acts like a vortex, which can absorb any kind of sensory information that surrounds him, making Muse incredibly hard to track, with even Daredevil struggling to target him. Muse's human speed also helps him. With this, he's even faster than the human eye can track, allowing him to remain out of sight. He has a level of superhuman strength that is far above the average human, which doesn't necessarily mean super soldier serum human, but he's strong. Proved by his ability to swiftly lift and move many dead bodies. Muse is also very agile and may potentially be able to climb walls akin to Spider-Man, as he is very quick and able to paint gigantic murals of various superheroes across the entire facade of buildings. He's also skilled at hand-to-hand combat, being able to take down even the most skilled soldier or vigilante. He's grisly. I'm trying to say
but he's exactly what I described. He's a villain that would give Daredevil a run for his money, at least initially, because his abilities make it to the point where Daredevil encounters him, he no longer has an edge because of his radar sense.
Right. So he has to use some other senses. This is from one of my favorite Star Wars authors, Charles Soule. He was the one who helped to create this with Ron Garney. So I really probably have to delve back into that storyline before Daredevil starts up again. He first appeared in Daredevil number 11, September 2016. So if you want to find out, that's where he goes. And he serves as an antagonist to Daredevil and Blind Spot. But Blind Spot will not be in the comic book. So it's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. He's supposed to be the big bad. I think when we have Bullseye, we see Bullseye going into jail, coming out. He somehow escapes and starts fighting with, of course, naturally, Daredevil. And then we have White Tiger. White Tiger has been bad. I don't know if they're going to make him good or it's clearly a guy here. So it's not going to be the daughter or the niece. So whether he's also a bad guy. And then you have Muse.
White Tiger was never a bad guy.
I thought he was a bad guy.
No, he was always a hero. Always.
Okay. Okay. I guess I'm talking about the. Okay, you're right. My apologies about that. So yeah, it looks pretty interesting going forward, but you never know what Marvel's going to do.
Well, as long as they don't do what they've done before, we should have a good show.
We should.
No agenda, no stupidity, no progressive BS, no malarkey. We know everybody knows what we're here for. Just give it to us. Thank you very much.
Yeah. All right. Well, hell, look, if this looks fantastic, and it looks like they're bringing in as the and it says here he's going to be played by Hector. It'll be Hector Ayala. We also say that if this is a hit, they're going to bring back the rest of the Marvel.
I don't see why, because of all the series that they did, that's Daredevil, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, Punisher. The only one that was a solid hit was Daredevil. That was the only one that made. That was the only one that made it to 3 seasons.
Well, we'll see. So I think, without a doubt, Punisher is one of the most.
Luke Cage was a Black History. Luke Cage was a Black History lesson. Jessica Jones, women's rights. Women's lib.
Netflix did say that one of their most popular shows was the Jessica Jones. I don't know how they equate that, if we can look into their numbers, but they were claiming that show helped to connect with other shows for people. So who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Look, we are
never saw the second. Never saw the second season. Saw the first season, was too long. Was like never coming back.
Okay. So hey, we like this trailer. It was off the chain. We give it a solid 11 out of 10.
Yeah, 20
Okay.
out of 10.
20 out of 10. So there it is. So Spinner Rack likes it. Please check it out. Spinner Rack.
Hey, we're out.
Out.